Yo, what is up everybody, it's Joe Great here and welcome back to another Naruto related video here today. And as indicated by today's title, I'll be giving you my list of the Akatsuki ranked from weakest to strongest. Now guys, I'm pretty excited to give you guys this video because after dwelling within the Naruto verse for quite some time, the Akatsuki are easily my favorite villain group in basically any group within the Naruto verse, and quite possibly in any anime I've ever seen ever. So whether you guys agree or disagree with this video, I hope you guys really enjoy it. I put quite some time into this video to give you guys the best quality content possible, of course. So if you enjoy the video, make sure to show some love. Any love would be greatly appreciated. So hit that like button, turn on bell notifications, and hit that sub button to become part of the family. But with all the formalities out of the way, let's get straight to the video. Coming in at number 10, we got ZETSU. Now to be concise guys, I'm specifically talking about ZETSU not attached to anyone like he was to OBITO or Yamato, because that would obviously drastically change his position within this list. ZETSU is more of a support character, having the ability to do various things such as being able to be in any location that he pleases without being detected, and isn't so much of a fighter in my opinion. Also, I feel like narratively that also holds because ZETSU almost always avoids battle, knowing he probably wouldn't do so well in most cases, with one of his best feats being in my opinion when he did decent against Mizukage Mei, Chunchiro, and a support group of Leaf Jonin when they were defending village leaders. Now guys, I know some of you are on the opposite side of the spectrum. You guys would argue that 1, he's an extension of Kaguya's will, and 2, he one-shotted Madara. Now I wouldn't blame you for taking that position, so by all means, feel free to put him on number 1 if that's what you desire, because obviously Kaguya and Madara are both way stronger than anyone else on this list. But my rationale is, without any outside help and being attached to anyone, ZETSU isn't beating anyone else on this list, and that's just my opinion. So feel free to let me know in the comments if you disagree. Next up on the list we got HIDAN, with HIDAN being considered one of the more weaker members of the Akatsuki within the Naruto verse, because although he has immortality and extreme durability, he clearly has low intelligence and even subpar taijutsu when compared to higher tier shinobi, as evident by when he couldn't even scratch Michipuri Kakashi. His obsession with killing his opponents and serving his self-proclaimed god Jashin most definitely limits his potential and results in him being an easier opponent to deal with when compared to the rest of the Akatsuki. All in all, immortality clearly makes him arrogant and somewhat reckless, resulting in him being less dangerous and less threatening to higher tier shinobi. So guys, basically his mindset and his personality are to his detriment, right? He obviously has extreme physical gifts. He's quite literally immortal. Only thing that can kill him is starvation, but because of his obsession, and unhealthy obsession I might add, he loses to people that are not as physically gifted to him, such as obviously Shikamaru when he defeated him in their battle. So I think he might have had potential to be higher on this list if he had a different mindset and personality, maybe if he was more intelligent. But all in all, he definitely isn't beating anyone else above this list in my opinion. So I most definitely had to have him low on this list, earning him the number 9 spot. Coming in at number 8, we got KONAN, with her arsenal in particular making her a slippery opponent with her ability to fly, create shuriken, and even manipulate paper bombs with her paper jutsu like she did against Obito. She's also a very intelligent and level-headed opponent, making her a difficult puzzle to solve when having to face her, especially when you don't know what she's capable of. But guys, in particular, KONAN is a difficult member to gauge on this list because 1, she doesn't have very many feats going for her. The Obito one, I can't give her too much credit because she did have tons of prep time for it. And 2, it is obviously narratively implied that she is to be respected. You know, she isn't treated badly like Toby was before they knew what he was capable of, right? So it's kind of difficult to decide where to put her. Some people think she's a top 5 Akatsuki member, right? And some people think she's complete fodder because she didn't do much, but I think she belongs at number 8 because 1, she did help recruit HIDAN. HIDAN seemed to respect her, and obviously I think she beats ZETSU one-on-one. But again, she's a difficult member to gauge. I think this is a fair spot for her, and let me know in the comments if you disagree, but I have her taking the number 8 spot on this list. At number 7, we got DEIDARA, with him definitely being a Kage plus level shinobi, having given Kazekage Gaara quite the challenge. And similar to KONAN, he can't fly, and with his arsenal of clay bombs, he's a difficult opponent to deal with for most people. So guys, honestly, one-on-one with him using his most lethal of abilities, I think he can beat most people out there within the Naruto verse. And I personally think DEIDARA is underrated when it comes to intelligence because he is always aware of his chakra levels and is always analyzing his opponent's battle patterns and battle strategies in the midst of battle. So DEIDARA, all in all, is a very dangerous and formidable opponent. And with his hacked abilities, guys, which include microscopic clay bombs that only people with the highest visual prowess can see, such as Sasuke, and his C0 atomic level explosion, he kills almost anyone, like I just said. He's a very dangerous opponent, a very crafty one of the more crafty and creative members within the Akatsuki, and even the people above this position within this list would have to take him serious due to his hacked abilities and due to his creative and crafty demeanor. So he definitely belongs to be on the spot on this list. He would definitely beat anyone below him on this list and quite possibly give people above him on this list a difficult time. So he most definitely belongs to take number 7 on this list. Coming in at number 6, we got Sasori. Now, to me personally, I think Sasori has the most versatile arsenal out of anyone in the Akatsuki, with his infamous poison, the various kinds of puppets at his disposal, and obviously the third Kazekage, who's a huge problem for most opponents, being able to wield the famous Iron Sand. Now, I think we can all agree when I say he is the best puppet user to ever live. Now, to quickly squash that Sasori's fodder because he lost a soccer argument, number 1, Chiyo was with her, who knew all his tricks since she's literally his grandmother. Number 2, Sakura already had the antidote to his poison coming into the battle. And number 3, it can be easily narratively implied that he could have won the battle if he wanted to, with Chiyo literally saying it herself. Furthermore, DEIDARA literally says himself that Sasori is superior to him, so that squashes that debate, and hence is the reason why I have Sasori above DEIDARA despite all his own hacked abilities. So, and to me personally, I just really like Sasori for his personality and his character. I think the whole puppet thing really suits him. You know, he has a cold heart, just like a puppet would, right? And I think overall he's a very cool character, and I wish we could have seen more of him. But with the little that we did see him, it was quite the treat, and I think he's quite powerful, and I wish we could have seen him really develop and maybe even be more loved by the Naruto fandom. But all in all, he's a very, very formidable opponent, and would even give, similar to DEIDARA, people above this position a tough time, I'm sure. So he definitely belongs to be at number 6 on this list. So the first person to crack the top half of this list is KAKUZU, with KAKUZU being one of those characters that has somewhat of an ambiguous power scaling. But however, I'm just going to try and stick to the facts here, folks. So in addition to him basically having 5 lives that can be replaced as long as there's a livable host around, he has the ability to use every chakra nature, and has some of the best taijutsu within the Akatsuki, as evident to when him and Kakashi were very competitive in their taijutsu exchange. Also, he did beat a 2-tailed Jinchuriki with relative ease, doing most of the heavy lifting and seemingly being unscathed in the encounter. However, I had to put KAKUZU at 5 because he did lose fairly easily to Naruto with the Rasen Shuriken, and I don't think anyone else above this spot within this list would lose to that version of Naruto respectively. And it's just something you can't ignore, guys. There are some people that really wank KAKUZU, saying that he can even beat Pain, which is just very disingenuous to me because it is obviously narratively implied that Pain is easily a top 3 Akatsuki member, and he just doesn't have that kind of power in his arsenal. He's literally taking orders from Pain, indicating that he looks at him as a superior, right? So all in all, KAKUZU is a formidable opponent. He does have some impressive feats under his belt, such as battling the first Hokage, but the first Hokage did let him live, to be fair. But all in all, KAKUZU at the end of the day is still very, very formidable and beats anyone else below this list, I believe, and even gives a couple guys above this list a hard time, but he definitely doesn't break any position higher than this in my opinion, and belongs to be at number 5. Coming in at number 4, we got Kisame, arguably having the most chakra within the Akatsuki, especially taking into account Samehada, which can actively absorb chakra for him during battle. He clearly has Tailed Beast levels of chakra, as evidenced by his domination of Killer Bee, and also clearly has Tailed Beast levels of attack potency, because if he didn't, he wouldn't be able to hurt Killer Bee in the first place. Another impressive feat was when he easily took care of Team Guy, easily putting Neji, Lee, and Tenten in water prison jutsus, and actually giving 6-gate Guy a pretty hard time. Again, only as a 30% chakra clone. That obviously indicates an insane amount of power and durability. And Kisame is just a character that I like quite a bit. He's one of those guys with a chill and laid-back personality. It seems to be the thing for powerful people, right? The more powerful you are, the more laid-back and cool-headed you are, and I kind of like that about Naruto. But this is a hot take, and I'll probably get shit for it. I just don't think any Akatsuki member below him would honestly stand a chance against him. He just has too much durability and too much raw power for anyone to even outlast him, even if they were able to present a problem for him, right? I just don't think they'd be able to defeat him. So Kisame, all in all, is a very formidable opponent and is definitely worthy of the name. The Tailed Beast without a tail. He literally has Tailed Beast levels of chakra, man. That's pretty fucking insane. Without being a Jinchuriki, this guy is competing with Tailed Beasts, the strongest of Tailed Beasts, I might add. So that speaks testaments to the tier of shinobi that Kisame is. Even people like Itachi respect him. Even Obito wanted his help, right? So all in all, he's a legend. He is a legend. He's probably the strongest 7 swordsman of the mist, and easily takes the number 4 spot on this list. Coming in at number 3, we got Pain. So guys, I know I'm going to get a ton of shit for this in heat, because Pain is obviously highly respected within the Naruto verse, but yes, I do have him on number 3, and let me explain why. So narratively, it is obviously illuminated that Pain was a final boss character, so to speak, and he definitely didn't disappoint when we finally got to see him in action, with the Pain arc being my personal favorite arc. And he truly seemed like a god amongst boys in that arc, with him doing seemingly anything he wanted with no real resistance until obviously Sage Naruto. But he clearly has also insane hacks abilities, with him being able to rip your soul out, absorb ninjutsu, tell if you're fucking lying, and even fucking reviving the dead with Rin Rebirth, which is just mind-blowing to think about to this day. He's clearly a shinobi within this unspoken hierarchy of the Akatsuki that everyone below him on this list just know they can't deal with. He's just too powerful. He's too dominant. And I think everyone below him on this list know that. So they just follow him. They just follow him knowing they couldn't really challenge him, because he would wipe the floor with them. He'd probably rip their souls out, absorb all their ninjutsu, and just plain out mop the floor with him, like I just said. So all in all, Pain is truly a god tier shinobi, and top 3 Akatsuki members really are god tier shinobi, and he definitely fits the bill here. He's one of my favorite characters, one of the most intimidating and impactful characters in Naruto, and one of the best villains of all fucking time in any anime ever, to be quite honest with you. He just does an amazing job as a character, and just really entertaining the fans and showing his godly abilities. You know, he really seemed like a god in that arc, and I will never, ever look at him any differently. He's just a man, a god, like I said, amongst boys. And yeah, I know this is extremely debatable, but yeah, I have him on number 3 on my list. Coming in at number 2, we got Itachi Uchiha. Now guys, before I even go into analyzing Itachi as a character, I think it's necessary for me to explain why Pain is below Itachi, and I think I owe him that much. So basically, Itachi as an Edo defeated Nagato as an Edo, as we all know, but to elaborate on that, as an Edo, you're basically in auto mode, blindlessly following what the user of the Edo Tensei tells you to do. In this case, it was Kabuto. Also, you're around 90% of your original power, which was stated by Tobirama. So, to explain further, Itachi, once he broke free of the reanimation jutsu, just beat Pain to the punch, man. He has a quicker mind, the quicker reaction time physically, and caught Pain off guard several times, such as when he caught him in Amaterasu, when he burned his summonings, and when he sealed him, which Pain was not able to react clearly since he was sealed successfully. So all in all, in my right mind, I cannot put Pain above Itachi, and I just think Itachi slightly takes this one, but obviously some of you are going to disagree and come up with things, so feel free to let me know in the comments if you disagree. But on to the analysis. So I must start out by saying that Itachi is quite literally the god of deception within the Naruto verse, having some of the most hacked genjutsu abilities within all the anime and manga, such as his infamous Tsukuyomi, where he controls space and time, and once caught in it, you are at his mercy indefinitely. The crazy thing about Itachi, guys, is we never get to see him at the prime and peak of his powers, right? Because he progressively gets more sick and sick throughout the anime and manga, unfortunately, so we never get to see what he truly is capable of. But either way, in every encounter, he was quite dominant. Even in the Sasuke encounter, he could have won if he wanted to. He only did it to wash away his transgressions, right? And trying to end things on a good term with Sasuke, so to speak. But even people like Kisame and Obito respect him in the highest of regards. He is always looked upon as a legendary and spectacular shinobi, and is my favorite character personally. I think he has a lore about him that I've never seen almost any character within any anime I've ever seen have. He has a badass presence about him that is unique, and that's an understatement, to be quite honest with you. He is a awesome character, and he is truly deserving of the number 2 spot on this list. And finally, taking the top spot on this list, we got Obito Uchiha. Now, I'm sure most of you guys could have already guessed I would have Obito on number 1, because it is strongly narratively implied that he is the strongest member of the Akatsuki, with even Pain himself following his orders for the longest time behind closed doors and believing that Obito was Madara. This clearly shows that even Pain himself had no doubt that Obito was more powerful than him, resulting in him obviously following his commands. I mean, what else could I say about the guy, folks? He has crazy hacks abilities, such as extreme durability and healing abilities with implanted Hashirama cells that were provided by Madara. Crazy reaction times is evident by him reacting to KISAME to Naruto, and of course his almighty and famous Kamui, which basically made him untouchable to anyone not named Minato or Kakashi. So I think it's pretty clear that Obito is and was the strongest member of the Akatsuki. He literally had the whole world believing he was Madara for decades. I mean, that is amazing, and that speaks testaments to the kind of formidable and legendary shinobi that Obito really is. I feel like he is underappreciated within the Naruto fandom and deserves much more respect. I mean, there's literally versions of him that are virtually gods, such as when he had the Rinnegan and when obviously he was Jubito. So he is the undisputed king of the Akatsuki. He was the real leader of the Akatsuki the whole time, pulling the strings behind closed doors, like I said, and he is the most powerful member of the Akatsuki in conclusion, right? So even people like Itachi and Pain feared him to some extent, and I think it's safe to say that, and there is enough narratively to kind of argue that. So Obito is the man, he is the shit, and is #1 on this list. So there you have it, folks. That is my list of the Akatsuki ranked from weakest to strongest. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely want to dwell into more original Naruto videos such as this one. I've already made a few, so check those out as well. But if you guys have any recommendations on the kind of topics you want me to make videos on, of course, let me know in the recommendations. But I think that's going to wrap it up. And of course, if you have any reaction video recommendations, let me know as well. Let me know what you thought about this list and whether you agree or disagree with this list. But I just want to say thanks for all the support lately. The channel has been doing well thanks to all of you, and the reason I make these videos is because of you guys. So much love to all of you. I'll rock with all of y'all, and I will catch you in the next video. This is Jay the Great signing out. Peace.